breaking news yesterday from, first off, it came from Smash and Grums. Now, Smash's video, it was very in-depth, but I have a nice, too long didn't read summary here from Grums that I wanted to point out. And that is the game director for one of the biggest flops, underperforming games of 2024. Dragon Age Veilguard has left Bioware and EA. And this is the person known as Karine Bush. Bioware Edmonton, the Veilguard studio, is going to be shuttered. A farewell email was shared with Grums, and I verified her leaving with Smash JT's contact at Bioware. Rumor that goes with this is that Edmonton offices of Bioware will be shuttered in February, just before the EA town hall for investors and gamers. It's sad that after completely destroying the game with DEI trans scars and terrible characters and writing, that the game director responsible for it bails and leaves everyone else holding the bag. These people often fail upwards through a woke studio system bent on promoting activists instead of great development. So here is the email right here. The email reads as follows. Hey all, it's hard for me to be writing these words, but here it goes. It's time for me to say goodbye. Today is my last day at Bioware. And to be clear, I reached out to Smash about this and said, what day was this sent? He did not have an answer for me on this, because this was a screen cap from what it was. So it says, after so much contemplation, I've decided to pursue a new challenge and a new project, doing what I love most, making RPGs. It wasn't an easy decision. I mean it when I say I love Bioware, the Dragon Age team, and what we've accomplished together. My time with you has been the highlight of my career. I want to offer my personal thanks to you for your trust, your companionship, and for the many ways in which you've inspired me and helped me grow. I'm eagerly waiting about something I can't write that. Great experience you create next. And as a fan, I'll be rooting for you. If I can leave you with any advice, it's this. We all know making games is hard. It's part of why we do it. Not necessarily that's the case. But making games is also about the people and the reliance we have on one another. So take time to celebrate the wins and lift each other up. The challenge and the work will always be there, but the moments we have with each other are precious and few. Let's stay in touch. So there's the email saying au revoir for Karine Bush.
Later, dude.
You're giggling, Logan.
Okay, I'm good.
You got any thoughts on that, John?
I was aware that the game was full of cringe shit, but for some reason I thought it sold better than it did. I guess not. Yeah, it's just another example of political messaging and ideology taking over the project and the story at a root level. You know, people don't like that. I don't like that. It sucks. It gets in the way of like actually making RPGs, you know, right? Where the story should take priority.
Well, it was the story. The whole thing was that story. It was ridiculous. And I was like, I just couldn't. Once I saw just the one scene, and then there was another and another and another. I'm like, I can't even get, like, I wouldn't even take it if someone gave it to me for free. I'd be like, no. Like, yeah.
Like every cutscene I saw was just, maybe I was just seeing the bad ones, but I saw plenty where I was just like, fuck, I could never get invested in this, because like there's this cringe integration of millennial dialogue. People saying like oof and shit. Like, come on, dude, it's a fantasy. It's like if in Lord of the Rings people started saying on God for real and shit like that, you just feel like, what is this?
Yep.
Well, let's not forget Inverse, after Dragon Age Veilguard had their launch. Inverse came in and had an article saying Karine Bush is the ruler of RPGs, conqueror of haters. I think this was not a situation where this person felt that they were off to their greener pastures somewhere else. Just knowing what I know about the corporate world, right? There was an option laid out in front for Karine Bush. And this is sheer speculation, but the option went like this. We can fire you if you want, right? And or you can resign and you can create the narrative. The choice is yours. You're gone either way. You failed at your job. And if you'd like to craft the narrative like you didn't do very well in Dragon Age Veilguard, we'll allow you to do that. And I think she chose this person chose the opportunity to craft the narrative. But either way, a decision was made by the executives there to let go of this person. That's what's really happening. It's going back to Mercante, right, at Kotaku, where Mercante was saying, hey, look, I've decided to leave. Where in reality, we see with her lawsuit with Smash JT, she was actually let go. That's what's going on here. Now, do you guys think this is a win? Like, or is this a part of the shift? Is this a big part of a bigger shift that's happening? Or is this simply just a dollars and cents decision?
I don't think I'd call it a win, because if this never happened, that would have been a win. If we got a better game, that would have been a win. But I think you're more likely to call it a shift. Yeah.
John?
I can see sort of a win in that, a game like this comes out and it doesn't do well. And hopefully it'll be a lesson for developers and publishers as to like how to better craft something that people actually want, and to finally learn like people don't want overt political messaging that's intrusive and gets in the way. Maybe it takes releasing a game like that to learn that lesson.
But what if
Maybe
it
they won't
buries the
learn anything.
studio?
Yeah, that's a shame. I mean, I don't want to see a team
Bioware's
of good people go down because
Bioware
of
used to be
somebody at the helm
fantastic.
who fucked up egregiously. That's definitely not a win.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see the response to this. And Savvy came in. I always like to see Savvy. Savvy's always really well thought out. She says, this narcissistic loser gutted the charm of Dragon Age just like it gutted The Sims. The Sims 4 is the worst state it's ever been in, and the community is in denial. This is, of course, the same Sims that gender-locked chest scars and to the male body, because apparently women with cancer don't exist, showing clearly who they pander to. Not only are the Sims not mean anymore, but this is the lamest system that's ever existed for the Sims. And she continues about the Sims. Says Dragon Age suffered a similar fate, being watered down and turned into an HR fest with dialogue. And it certainly was, quote, horny with some of the cringiest fan fiction dialogue possible. So please go back to your hole you crawled out of, never touch popular IP again, and make your own thing, which it sounds like they're doing. But what's interesting about this story as well, there's multiple layers to this. Obviously, there's the game development side of this, but there's also the video game journalist side of this, where we've talked extensively about how in 2024, there was a drastic shift in how people consume their news, right? It started several years ago, but I think 2024 was really where it took off, where people turned to podcasts, they turned to YouTubers, they turned to X instead of it turning to IGN and Game Informer, which closed, and Kotaku and Polygon, right? And in the case of this situation, Grums and Smash are the ones who broke the story, except you have this coming out. This is from Smash. It says Jeff Grubb apparently appears to have straight up stolen their exclusive story about Bioware and Karine Bush after we broke it, and the mainstream media mafia gives him credit for the scoop. These people are real pieces of work. This is why no one trusts mainstream anymore. Zero integrity, zero credibility, zero accountability. Once again, they came up with the story. They delivered it. Jeff Grubb, this is, by the way, I never interact with this person, but I do know I've been blocked, which is good.
Shocker.
This is his tweet from 14 hours ago. Karine Bush, director of Dragon Age, really is leaving Bioware, but I don't think EA is closing Bioware Edmonton. Was told there is nothing solid about that part of the rumor. Going back to this, you can see this is the dude, by the way, right next to Mercante. And there's the original tweet. And this is according to VG 24/7, where they attribute it to Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb. It's like, what are we doing? I don't know. Y'all's thoughts on that aspect of this story?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who broke it first. If it was Smashing Grums, you'd think like whoever else were to report on it, they would just like retweet the story or whatever.
I actually have more.
Yeah.
I just checked this guy's Twitter. I'm not blocked. And thanks to everyone who was pointing out that reporting like this is what made me leaker of the year. So that's kind of ironic.
Wow.
He's just owning it. Doesn't care. So there you have it. He's like, okay, relax. Lots of you are now throwing the word hero around, and while I agree that you wouldn't have ever learned about this story without me, I'll settle for a role model to all people.
Okay, so he's trying to...
He's
Wow.
a piece of shit.
Right.
Like, I knew he was trash, but damn, dude, it's like, just tell everybody you're trash.
If you actually click on the lower one here, I'll show this my screen. You can see the response to this over here. We got Nick Calandra coming in, giggling here. But who, by the way, once again, I'm now blocked. I am blocked from Nick Calandra, which is
No
amazing.
way. Did he
Yeah.
ever block me again? Remember how we like called him out because he randomly blocked me? And I'm like, dude, I've never talked to you in my life.
Right,
Let's
right.
see. Nick Calandra. I thought he wasn't even on Twitter anymore. I thought he went to Blue Sky.
Apparently he's back, which I would imagine most Blue
Oh,
Skyers
look at
are.
that. I'm not blocked by him anymore. I guess he got scared.
Well, speaking of Nick, he is nominated for Worst Journalist of the Year at the Real
Nice.
Game Awards, coming up on Thursday. So make sure you guys tune into that. Looking forward to see who takes that award, although I already know because I've seen the results. Make sure you tune in. It'll be great.